Hi everybody, Shannon Petrovich with Therapist Talks. What is social anxiety and how can I deal with it? Millions of people deal with social anxiety on a daily basis. This video will help you understand it, know the 3 unhealthy coping mechanisms that kick in, and then learn the healthier ones that you can put in their place. Social anxiety is defined as, rather obviously, the fear of social situations. But the focus of that fear is commonly the possible scrutiny of others, the fear of showing anxiety, the fear of a negative evaluation by others or rejection by others. Secondly, it's defined as the fact that social situations almost always provoke fear. Third, avoidance of social situations. Fourth, the fear is out of proportion to the actual threat. And 5, that it is persistent for at least 6 months or more. And 6, it causes significant distress in social, occupational, or other areas of functioning. So the 3 unhealthy coping mechanisms that kick in include, number 1, avoidance, which involves escapism of all sorts. Number 2, we start to build a story around the experience, ourselves, and our lives. And number 3, that we start to give all power to our feelings. I'm going to tackle the third one first. When we've been terrified by anxiety in a social situation, we tend to give all power to our feelings and believe that feelings are facts. This could not be more untrue or more destructive. Feelings are feelings. They emerge from the amygdala and are often reacting in terror to something that is not dangerous to us at all. Our amygdala is that little walnut-sized part in the middle of our brain that is most like all other animals. It reacts to danger with fight, flight, or freeze and gives us that shot of adrenaline to protect ourselves from danger. That's cool, but we as humans also have this higher cortex of thought processes. In other videos, I've talked about using your wise mind to calm down the amygdala or that monkey mind. The weird thing is that when we think we are in danger, going back to the embarrassing thing that happened, and we felt like we were going to die of humiliation, that shot of adrenaline went off anyway, and it's totally out of proportion to the actual danger. So then any situation that feels or looks like it might turn out that way can trigger that thought that triggers the amygdala to think we're going to die, and our fight, flight, or freeze goes off like fireworks again. Is feeling like we're going to die a fact? No, I'm not going to die of embarrassment even though I feel like I might. It's not a fact. To add to this, social media takes a normal embarrassing moment and broadcasts it virally, which makes us feel that it is even more catastrophic. The exponential hurt from this is so painful that it can lead a young person to suicidal thoughts and actions. So giving all power to our feelings is one of the most important unhealthy coping mechanisms that we need to look at. The more we do this, the more we give in to the next mechanism, which is avoidance. We avoid in a million different ways. Isolation, social media rather than face-to-face interactions, substance abuse, gaming addiction, porn addictions. All of these are ways we isolate rather than face social situations. And the truth about avoidance is that the more we avoid, the more afraid we become and the more we will avoid, and so it is a downward spiral. It's important to realize that self-consciousness and occasional embarrassment are normal parts of life, and we're supposed to work that out and grow resilience around us during our awkward early teen years. Sadly, many of us had this growth hampered by a myriad of things, and we never faced these awkward times and overcame them. So it led to us feeling that any self-consciousness or embarrassment is a catastrophic event. The third unhealthy coping mechanism is the story. We use our wise minds in a twisted, funny sort of way to make sense of and create a sense of safety in the midst of our social terror. So we tell ourselves, well, if I only stay away from A, B, and C, or if I get rid of my acne, or if I get my nose fixed, or when I lose 20 pounds, or if I get a new wardrobe, then I'll socialize again. Or it can be more complex. It can be, I can't speak in public, I can't be in a room with more than 5 people, I can't go to a place where I don't know anyone, I can't go to a gathering where everyone will be in swimsuits or fancy wear or whatever. I can't handle school if the teacher might call on me. I can't handle school if something is demanded of me that I'm afraid I can't accomplish. I can never go back to school and face my peers after such and such happened. The problem is that even if you lose the 20 pounds or get your nose fixed or get rid of your acne, you'll change the story and add more ifs to continue to avoid. The story is just as destructive as the other two coping mechanisms because it very much feels true and accurate, and it becomes your truth. Often people have a lot of trouble letting go of the story they've told themselves. Sometimes the story is so woven into old stories that together that becomes really important to look at. Where did that all come from? When did you first notice feeling this way? What was going on in your life, and who was in your life? What was your first and worst experience of embarrassment, humiliation, self-consciousness, and how did you react? Who was there to help or hurt? Often when we trace these things back to their roots, it becomes clear that early criticism from a parent or a teacher or peers escalated our normal self-consciousness into terror. Even a traumatic event and feeling very alone can create or fuel a story of unsafety around social situations. Sometimes a person can point right to a time when they moved to a new school or felt bullied or put down or had a traumatic event, or they didn't fit in, or even if they had an embarrassing thing happen, they never got over the laughter of the peers. It's important to recognize that we all are wired a bit differently, so some of us are naturally more sensitive than others. So a similar experience felt by two different people can be felt in different ways. It's also true that when we feel loved and accepted and supported at home, we're usually a lot more resilient to any kind of embarrassment at school or other places. So even though the embarrassment may have happened in a social situation, it might have been set in motion by the internal feelings of rejection at home. The roots are so important so that we can understand that the story we're telling ourselves is often very old, combined with more current stories, and then it turns into a real mess. In summary, the feelings feel like facts. The story seems like solid truth, and the avoidance creates more fear and avoidance. So this makes for a very intertwined bunch of negative coping mechanisms that are often very hard to pull apart and move past. They have a life of their own, and they are naturally downward progressing. So what do I do? First of all, recognize that self-consciousness is totally normal. Anyone who pretends otherwise is pretending. One of the problems with social media is that people perceive that others are having perfect lives, and so it puts our own in contrast, and it makes us feel even worse. Everyone struggles, and everyone is self-conscious sometimes. Recognizing that helps us know that we can make the journey from paralysis to resilience. So the 6 steps to freedom are: number 1, determine what you want to change. What is your end goal, and what are some intermediate goals between here and there? Write them down. Number 2, write out the stories you're living in, the old ones, the current ones, and using your wise mind, put the past in the past. Note the level of fear and the lack of factual basis for that fear of those current social situations. If you need help recognizing the facts and pulling apart, talk to a therapist. If you don't have access to therapy, a good friend or family member who can watch this video also might be able to help you walk through it. Number 3, choose a challenge. Make it a baby step so that it pushes you out of your comfort zone, but not so far out that you can't succeed. Number 4, plan for success. Go with a friend. Tell them what you need to help you stay calm and help you walk through it. Number 5, think of this as developing muscles. You have to start with small weights and gradually increase the weights. Start small, feel yourself building resilience and strength, and increase the challenges gradually. And number 6, give yourself 30-second celebrations. Every time you conquer a baby step, celebrate. You'll reinforce yourself, build your self-confidence, and get stronger and calmer. So in summary, your feelings are not facts, the stories are not truths, and avoidance doesn't help. You can get past your social anxiety one baby step at a time. There are several other videos on anxiety, panic attacks, and daily strategies to decrease your anxiety. Those might be helpful too. If you appreciated this video, please hit like and please subscribe. It's free and you'll get notified when a new video comes out, usually 2 or 3 a week. Take good care of yourselves and create an awesome day.